All right, today I'm going to show you some of the best pocket knife finds for under $70 you can find right on Amazon. Now, on this list, you can expect to see there's going to be no D2. It's mostly knives with 14C, 28N Sandvik, and Nitro V steel. And we're going to start seeing some 154 CM, which I don't know about you, I think that's pretty exciting. Make sure you stick around until the end to see the bonus knife because it's discontinued, and you know what? You can still buy it at a really cheap price. All right, let's get started. Number 10, I've got the crossbar lock version of the Muran Myaro that has a 3¼ inch 14C 28N blade. You know, I was all set to have this thing at like number 1 or, close to it. But the Omega springs inside, they're a little on the weak side. I mean, I should not be able to. Look at that. I should not be able to shake this thing open that easy. For some reason, they mounted that titanium pocket clip like slightly more shallow than on the liner lock version. But hey, I guess I can't complain because the handle is thinner. You know what this reminds me of? Like a bad video game port. You know, when like a great computer game is ported over to Xbox or PlayStation, and it just doesn't translate well because some games, they're just meant to be played with a keyboard and mouse. I mean, maybe this design is just better off with the liner lock instead of a crossbar. Number 9 is going to be the CMB Predator. It has a 3.42 inch 14C 28N blade. Usually I do a lot of research before, buying any knife, but this one I can honestly say as soon as I saw a picture of it, man, I knew I had to have one. The blade shape and handle just work so well together. I mean, this thing looks just as good closed, as it does when it's open. I don't know about you, but I like my crossbar locks to have like a stronger spring tension. I don't want a blade that's going to pop out, when I give it a quick shake. And this one, oh yeah, these are really strong and that blade stays put. So hey guys, nice job. Number 8, I got the good old Buck 112 Ranger. It's got a 3-inch 420 HC blade. All right, now hear me out before you tell me that I lost my mind, because this really is it's a solid USA-made tank of a knife. Is it heavy? Yeah. I mean, does it have a pocket clip? No, but there's plenty of other versions out there that do. All right, so it's obviously not a fidget knife, but what it is a well-made tool that's going to last you forever. I just think it's a knife that should be in everyone's collection, but hey, what do I know? I'm old. I still watch cable TV. Now, at number 7, we're going to get 2 knives because they're both really close in price. So it's going to be the Kaiser Torso K down at the bottom, which has a 3.4 inch 154 cm blade, or the smaller Torso S, which is 2.83 inch blade. Now, this is a perfect example of why you need to tap that bell icon to enable notifications so you can get an alert right when I put up a new video, because the Torso S is currently on sale on Amazon for almost $25 less. Link is in the description. You're welcome. If I could only keep one of these, man, that is a really tough choice, but I'd have to go with the smaller S because of that sub 3-inch blade. It's not as scary to use in public, and, it takes up a lot less room in pocket. Other than the obvious stuff, another big difference between the two is that the K, it shows us lefties some love with the 2-position pocket clip. The S does not. Number 6 going to be the Civ Chevalier. It's got a 3.46 inch 14C 28N blade. I like this G10 version for the better, handle traction, but you can also get it with aluminum scales if that's your thing. The blade cuts well with an edge that has a slight belly, which, I think is important anytime you have a sheep's foot blade with a flipper. And speaking of that flipper, I'm not trying to sound like a character from Rick and Morty, but ooh-wee, is this thing a blast to fidget with. Number 5, how about the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog? It's got a 2.6 inch 154 cm blade. One of the things that I love about this is all the different versions that are available, and I'm not just talking about like a different blade finish or like different handle colors. In this price range, you get your choice of different handle materials. There's micarta, G10, Richlight. When this first came out, it had VG10 blade steel, but now there's 154 cm, or you can even get the super tough 4V. Heck, you can even choose between getting if you want a slip joint or a liner lock. Number 4, I got the Civ Cubit as 2.98 inch 14C 28N blade. It's hard to believe that there aren't more knives out there with a bottle opener built into the tang. I mean, it's an idea that just makes perfect sense. The blade stock is a lot thinner than I expected. I mean, it's like Benchmade bug out like thinness. So yeah, it's a slicer. The action is very good, but notice how far off center that pivot screw is. So, you know, when you're closing it, you have to tip the knife a little bit farther forward. Yeah, to get that blade moving. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just something I wanted to point out. Number 3, we got the Vosteed Mini Labrador as a 2.73-inch blade and 14C28N. A full titanium frame lock in this price range, you know, it's not totally unheard of, but, you know, it is still pretty uncommon. It's small enough to be carried like as a backup or, you know, like a secondary option with almost enough room for a full 4-finger grip. It's like 3.75 fingers. Most of the time with little frame locks like this, you know, you really have to watch how you hold it when you're opening that blade, because, you know, if you put pressure on the lock, you know, it's just not going to open. Now check this out. With this knife, it really doesn't matter. I mean, look, you can clearly see, okay, I got my thumb resting on the lock bar, and that thing still fires reliably every single time. And what list would be complete without one of these? At number 2, I've got the Civ Elementum 2 with a 2.96-inch blade in Nitro V steel. Maybe I'm just partial to button locks, but, you know, to me, I think this is the best version of the Elementum. And yeah, even better than the Wii titanium frame lock one with the 20 CV steel. It is my favorite budget steel. You know, it's got great action. And don't forget about that super slicey hollow ground blade. Sitting pretty at number 1 is going to be from CRJoria. This is the CRJoria. Has a 3.48-inch blade in their proprietary AR RPM 9 steel. For me, this knife just has it all. It's thin. It has a good looking, look at that. That's a good looking drop point blade that also cuts well. And a forward finger choil. You know, it's got the multiple opening options. Great action. And on top of all that, as a 2-position titanium pocket clip. I just don't understand why they never made a regular production version, you know, without a coated blade. Because to get one, I had to buy this Knife Center exclusive. You know, it really shouldn't be that way. And here's that bonus knife. It's going to be the Terax from Civ with a 3.48-inch blade. This one has Nitro V steel. Another great knife that I just hate to see discontinued. You know, even though I do kind of understand why. I love that wide drop point blade. It's got a sturdy frame lock, you know, multiple opening options, but the stainless steel G10 scales, they weren't skeletonized at all. So it's got some weight to it. It's a few shy of like 5 ounces. If you want to see some newer budget knife releases, you know, that cost maybe just a little bit less, check out this next video about my top $50 Amazon picks. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, you know, if you're looking for knife reviews, they get right to the point.